The minute he did, he became legally, technically an outlaw. And Pompey could kill him and do it legally and right. Once he crossed over that Rubicon, there's no going back. Once he's crossed it over, he's made himself an enemy of Pompey. He crossed that Rubicon, of course, changed all of Roman history. He actually that became a phrase. Crossing the Rubicon is taking an action that if you take, you can't go back. It's the point of no return. And that's what he's asking Philemon to do. To cross the Rubicon in relationships between slave masters and slaves. I'm asking you not only to not kill him, not work him to death, but to love him. Treat him like a family member. Go to church with him. Be buddies and praise the Lord with him. And if you cross over that line, you're probably going to lose all your friends down at the club. You're going to pay an awesome price. Will you cross over that line? Now think of it. They didn't have Xerox machines and copy machines. They couldn't Twitter and they couldn't all these things where you can take a picture, and I've done it with my cell phone. I take a picture and email it to somebody, and they've got it instantly around the world. None of that was available. How did we get the book of Philemon in the Bible? One copy, and that's all there is, the original. Well, first of all, it tells us in Colossians chapter 4 there, that Tychicus is coming, and I'm sending Onesimus with him. Onesimus is carrying this letter. Onesimus is carrying this letter. So here's Paul in prison in Rome, and Onesimus accepts Christ, and he's converted, he's changed, and they say, we really should do the right thing. You know, when you become a Christian, there are some bridges you have to go back and repair and talk to people and make right, and make restitution. Well, anyway, you better go back to Philemon. Go back to Philemon! You got me kidding! If I go back to Philemon, you'll have me killed! Or you'll whip me to death! I can't go back. Come on, Paul. I've accepted Christ. I'm a new person. I'm a good guy. I'm helping you. You're the great apostle Paul. And I'm helping you. Can that count? Do I have to go back to Philemon? Cross over the Rubicon, Onesimus. Once you go back to Philemon with this letter, he will kill you, or he will work you to death, or he'll forgive you. But once you cross over that and take the letter back, you're now under his power. Guess what? We have the letter. Onesimus could have said, thank you, Paul, ran away, burned the letter, and said, forget it. I'm out of here. I'm not going back to Philemon. He chose to cross his Rubicon. Much harder than sending a thank you note. His life was on the line. And he went back to Philemon and said, here's the letter. What are you going to do? Now, if you were Philemon and you said, the great apostle Paul, this is too much. I'm not doing it. Do you think we would have the letter in the Bible today? He would have burned it. He would have thrown it away. Don't send me letters like this. One time when I was first out of seminary in my first church, this guy down at the filling station, his wife liked to come to church once in a while, but he wouldn't. And so I'm the guy out of seminary. I'm going to convert this guy. I'm going to get him to church. And I go down and I talk to him and I say, come on, Clyde, why don't you come to church? You know, your wife comes once in a while. Come on over. No, I don't own a suit. I work here. I pump gas. I have almost no money. You guys all wear suits. You know, in those days we wore three-piece suits and it was very formal and all that. He says, I don't have shoes. I can't. I said, if you had a better job that paid you enough money, didn't. Oh, sure. If you could get me a better job. This is a town of 6,000 people, Madison, South Dakota, a little college town. Nice little town, about 50 miles from Sioux Falls from where the seminary was. So I go to this guy who owns a company in town, a little manufacturing company, who's a member of the church, and I say, would you give this guy a break? Would you give him a chance? And he's looking at me like, you pastor, what do you know about business? What do you know about anything? You know, how to run the world. But you are my pastor, and I suppose, okay. So, this guy has to have a physical. He has to go to the doctor. All these things are required, and it's pretty expensive. And this owner pays all this. And he asks the guy, and he finally says, okay, you got a job. Come in on Monday. You're going to make 10 times what you're making now. Aren't I a great healer? A great helper? I mean, I'm really making the world a better place. Monday, about 10 o'clock, I get a call from the owner of the company. He says, Pastor, where's your man? Where's my man? He's not there. I get in my car, run down to the gas station. There he's pumping gas. I said, Clyde, what is it? You got this job 10 times the money. He says, I don't want it. I like who I am. And on Wednesday night, when the man from church comes, he says, Pastor, I don't want to ever get another request from you to hire somebody. You don't know what you're doing. And I learned a lesson there. This is what Philemon could have said about the Apostle Paul. What do you know about these things? You're a preacher. Just keep preaching, but stay out of my business. He could have torn up the letter, then been in. But he didn't. We have the letter because he responded to it. Now, I want you to notice something even beyond possibilities, pregnant with possibilities. Perhaps read this letter for the fine print. Not the bold print, but the fine print. And see what the Apostle Paul is asking Philemon for. He's asking him for more than verse 17. Welcome him back as you would welcome me. He's asking